Hey guys, welcome to Love, Growth, and Freedom with Adrian Duarte. So today will be my first vlog and we are gonna get to know me in a very weird way. We are gonna talk about random stuff using this random bowl filled with random questions. The channel is all about believing in love, acknowledging our growth, and encouraging our freedom. It's a podcast originally, but since I have been deciding and creating content for my podcast, I believe that it was time to actually transform the podcast into a more receptive area like a vlog. So what's gonna happen is the podcast is gonna be the theoretical and the YouTube videos and the vlogs will be the application of whatever we've talked about in the podcast. The podcast is talking about a lot of different array of things revolving love, growth, and freedom, and how I see the world through these kinds of lenses. How things about love, growth, and freedom is intertwined in all of the things that we do. Okay, good. So, before we start, I will introduce a few parts of myself. I'm Adrian Duarte. I am 23 years old. I'm a preschool teacher by calling. It's a passion of mine now, and I've discovered that recently, and I love everything that I do in school. I miss them, I miss my kids, I miss everything. I am born on December 28, 1996. So that's, I think, a basic thing that you should know about me. And yeah, you can follow me on Spotify, Love, Growth, and Freedom. I also have it in Anchor and different podcasting sites, which will be down in the description below. Okay? In the description below. And you can also follow me on Instagram, @duartelim. Love Grow Free on Twitter, and Adrian Duarte on Facebook. So these are the other channels and the other avenues we could get to know each other more. Without further ado, let's begin my 20 facts about me. Now, let's start. So I'm gonna ask and I'm going to get all of the questions as quickly as possible. So the thrill would be going us out. So what is the one activity or hobby that you cannot do without? Mine would be working out. I've been working out ever since I have been active in my life because my parents have been encouraging me to try things out. Second fact about me is draw or write something you fear the most. Okay, I fear a lot of things, but this is one thing that I fear. Like when I see this, automatically see me run the other way around. Okay, I'm gonna draw this out. It's a challenge. I'm not an artistic person, but this is it. If you know what this is, I probably drew it well. It's a lizard. I hate lizards. And I hate cold-blooded animals. I just really hate frogs. Snakes, I can manage, but frogs and lizards, no. Next. How have you been coping up with EZQ? Okay, so as a preschool teacher, one of the things that I've learned about kids and people is that developing a routine makes it easier for us to adjust to new things in our lives. If you have a routine set up on you for every day, or the very start of everything that you do, you get acquainted and acclimated to it that when something doesn't happen or go your way, it actually upsets you. So that's what happens with kids better listen better to you if you provide a routine for them, if they really know what they're supposed to do on that specific day, or when they're conditioned that things are going to change. So in this moment, the way I coped with my EZQ, or the EZQ here, is that I coped up with making my own routine. I wake up in specific times, I sleep in specific times, and I do things in specific hours of the day, just to make me feel like I still have a mundane routine and cycle of life. Next. What is your sun, moon, rising sign? So I was born on December 28, 1996, 11:30 a.m. So I am, based on my natal chart, I am a sun in Capricorn, moon in Leo, and rising in Aries. So I'm very passionate, not hard-headed, I guess, and very straightforward with a lot of things. Yeah, these are very powerful signs. When I go on an adventure, I like to A, plan the whole thing, B, make it up as I go, C, delete as necessary. So I guess the best case for this is I am a planner. I would answer that I am a planner, but I also make it as I go. For example, I will make I remember I usually am tasked to make itineraries for family trips. So when we were in Japan, I helped out my siblings to plan out an itinerary. What I do is I plan out how we get there and plan out which places we're gonna go that is very economical and near to each other. For example, if you were gonna go to Ueno Park, I'm gonna choose like places that is near Ueno Park and that's circumventing back to our hotel. So it's more, financially practical and a lot of things. Yeah, so, but the most important thing for me is if I go on an adventure, I want to make sure that I have a to and from trip back. I don't want to die. I don't want to be like lost in some place and I don't know how to get home. I really have to make sure that I am certain how to get home. Like, that's what's most important for me. Next, name your favorite movie and act out a line from that movie. I love this movie about death called A Little Bit of Heaven, and it really was a really good, fresh, and powerful take on death. Looking at death head on. So there's a line in this movie where she asks her mom, like, Mom, when I die, I don't want you to mourn. I want you to have a party, celebrate my life, rather than mourn for my passing. So one of those lines, it's not verbatim, but it's one of those lines that got me wanting to watch that movie. It's Kate Hudson and some other people that you really should watch out for. It's an underrated movie. I love it. When was the last time you cried? Last time I cried was when I finished Modern Family. Modern Family is by far my most favorite series of all time. We get to know about me with this fishbowl or mason jar. What are you most passionate about? Well, I am most passionate about living, actually. Living my life the way I want it. With like responsible and being accountable for the actions that I have. But now, as of the moment, I am most passionate about creating content for love, growth, and freedom. What type of music are you into and why? Sing a song you got last song syndrome to. And yeah. Okay. I like listening to pop music, but I also enjoy listening to ballad, jazz, and a whole lot of shiz. But yeah, it's a variety, but mostly if these songs have meaning that I could decipher and I could really check out on, like listen intently and relate to it a lot, I typically appreciate the music. But the latest that I've been like really into was Lala Lost You by Nicki. So it said sing a line, or sing some lines. The line would be, all my demons run wild, all my demons have your smile, in the city of angels, city of angels. Hope New York holds you. Hope it holds you like I do. Sorry for my bad singing voice. The next fact is, do you believe in love? Yes, of course, this channel stands for it. But to expound that further, I believe in all kinds of love. Your self-love, love for your friends, your family, for a specific someone, and love for God, and love for the people around you. So, one thing that I want everyone to take away from is that, love is available everywhere if you just allow it to enter your life. It doesn't revolve in one person. It doesn't just mean romantic love and accepted by one person. But if you allow yourself to see that love is everywhere, that love is right at your doorstep, there's really nothing to worry about. People around you love you, and you should know that. Allow yourself to feel the love that you deserve around the world, and it's just not romantic love. It's not the only love in the world. Especially, self-love is one of the most important things. Know to love yourself, even when you hate yourself on a lot of days. Have you ever been injured? Yeah, definitely. I've been injured a lot. But the worst would be probably a fracture on my right rib. Because when I was a kid, I was playing tag with some friends, and they were jumping over fences included, and I tried jumping over a fence. Dumb me was wearing eyelander slippers, were thick AF, and then it like got stuck on the fence. I fell like really probably at least 4 feet high, fell from 4 feet high, and then I slammed the floor, and boom, I got injured, fractured, and then it was our neighbor who saw me, carried me like a prince charming, and brought me to my family. And yeah, some of mine was probably overextensions and ankle sprains. Sing a line of a song you play when you're feeling the butterflies. Eek, I haven't felt butterflies in a long time. But the song that comes to my mind would be Still Into You. still into you. It goes, it's by Paramore, so it goes like, I should be over all the butterflies. I'm into you. And baby, even on the worst nights, I'm into you. Oh. Next is write a word that hurts you. You know what? I'm gonna write a real raw word that still hurts me. I know it's not something to be shameful about anymore. And people have changed, people have grown. But there's still a lot of people who use this as an insult. And sometimes I can't stop myself from not feeling hurt when people say you're too much. And I can't stand you. Sometimes this is guised as I just prefer other people, and it's okay. But sometimes people take it too far, and it hurts. The word is femme. It's still painful when I hear that sometimes, especially when I go out with people and people be like, you're too much for me, you're femme for me. It's just hard. But it's one of the most amazing things about me, I guess. And I accept that, and I'm happy for it. Next is, what's one of the most embarrassing things that happened to you? Or what are the most embarrassing things that happened to you? I've got two up in the list that I'm gonna tell you, and both are abroad. I was in the States for a while. I went to a trip with my family in the States. We went to San Francisco, so the first one was in San Francisco. We were riding the ferry going around the city, and I was playing coy with my siblings, pretending that I was gonna fall, slip, and be like, oh, it's moving too much. And then suddenly, karma hit me. And it happened, literally slammed my butt down the floor, and then everybody was like, oh, are you okay? Except my family, because they're the typical Filipino family who laughed at me first before helping me up. The second is, it's almost a similar story, but this was in New York. I was in Brooklyn heading to Manhattan. I was riding a bus, or I was about to ride a bus. I got in the bus, so it was snowing heavily, and I got into the bus, gave my Metro card, swiped it up, and then said good morning to the driver and say have a good one, because I was feeling good, and I was walking down the aisle faster than I should have, and then I slipped, body slammed to the floor, smashed down, body slam, and then like things hurt, but people were like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, and I sat down pretending that everything was okay, because I am a prideful little person that does not need anybody's help. But yeah, it was painful. Next is, what's your heartbreak anthem? I've got a lot. I guess I really listen to Truth Hurts and Best You Never Had by Beyonce. Next, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently if you were born again? If I have every consciousness that I have now and then born again, the only thing that I'd be telling myself is be kinder to yourself and allow people to love you if they do. Name 3 things you hate about yourself. This is contradictory to the channel, but I guess it's important to know the things that you don't like about yourself or hate about yourself so you can love them more. I hate my acne. My acne acts up on a certain time, and it's just really like filled with the head of it all, and I want to pop it when I become obsessive about it. And I also, I hate my armpit hair because it grows too much. Like it comes out like whatever. But I hate it so much, so I have to trim it out. Yeah, but I'm trying to love it. It's part of me, it's normal. I think armpit hair is just normal. I just really have to be like okay with it. Next is my voice. I feel like if I was given a chance to have a singing voice, I'd love to get that singing voice. Down to our final question. Let's see what the final question is. Dun, 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 dun. It's, does death scare you? Hard question to end this whole video. Probably, I'm not really afraid of death because I know it's part of life, and I know it's something that we have to know and accept. At the end of the day, it is death that gives life meaning. So yeah, but what I'm most afraid of is turning into oblivion, fading into nothingness. You know why? Because probably it's a good example would be Coco, where Coco is, forgetting her father. So her father from the afterworld or afterlife fades into nothingness if she forgets him. So that was scary for me to think, because if people around you, the people you made relationships with, die as well or fade into nothingness as well, no trace of you will be off this world unless you did something really great. So, that's what I'm afraid of. But anyway, I think it's part of life, and with that in mind, I think doing the most that you can in the way or the time that you're alive is the best thing that you could do now. So, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to this video. I am very grateful that you've stayed until the end of the video. You can follow me on Instagram, @DuarteLim, Love Grow Free on Twitter, Adrian Duarte on Facebook. And once again, I'm signing out. Thank you so much, lovies. Bye! Hope you had fun!